you two are like 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say maybe this, it might be a big deal for you now. Would you date a guy who lived with his parents?
No.
Right now, or like, what do you mean?
You
right
can
now?
you can answer now, and you can also say in like 5 years.
In the future, well, it depends if like the parents are living with him, but
No,
probably
he doesn't.
not.
He's not making enough. He's not making enough money, so he lives with his parents.
Yeah, I feel like at a certain point in your life, you should be doing something to pursue.
Okay. What about you?
Actually, I think it completely depends on the situation. I mean, I know a lot of people who are going through a lot. Let's say they were a big lawyer once,
Sure.
and now they have no fucking money. They went bankrupt. Something happens. They're living with their parents, or
Okay.
they were an addict and they were in rehab and they need to get back on their feet. There's so many
Well-
things about that can be honorable about your personality. Your living situation is really one of the last things that's going to interest me.
I hope this
Okay.
isn't controversial, but honestly, drug addict is still not my first choice for like.
Well, no, but
people
there
can
are things
change.
can happen to people where they have to get back up with their feet. If you're a complete loser and you're rude and you have no motivation and ambition, then no, I'm not going to date you if you live with your parents. But that goes for a woman that lives with their parents. I'm not going to date you. It's not just about men. For me, in my own case.
I agree.
Yeah,
if you're
it's
not
about
doing something to
people.
get out of a situation where
Yeah.
you can be independent and on your own.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
you? Would you date a guy who lives with his parents?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it okay? But is it ideal? Would you have a preference for someone who has like their own place?
I mean, it's nice if they have their own place, but at the same time, like, literally, people go through different situations that, like, it's okay if you live with your parents.
Well, okay,
it's not the biggest, like, oh my God, you live with your parents? Okay, I can't talk to you. Like,
The whole drug. That
is an example.
That's its own
Yeah.
red flag.
Whole
That's
thing.
its own red flag.
It doesn't have to
but
be
it doesn't have to be a red
I don't
flag
think
because
it
there
has
are
to.
Someone who's
My parents
previously
were addicts, and now she's a VP of a bank, and my dad owns one of the most successful businesses in Philadelphia. Like, we're fine. I don't think that's a red flag.
No,
They
I
lived
don't
with their
think so
parents
either.
trying to get back on their feet. That was simply something I threw into the air. It was not the prioritized
Yeah.
category. Like, it's...
Can people turn their lives around? Yes, but yeah, I think for me and for a lot of people, if you were previously a drug addict, that's a red flag.
Well, and I completely understand that. Addiction, like, it's
Someone
a
was
problem. And those
previ-
traits
Sorry,
will
go ahead.
stay with you, of course, throughout life. So I do agree with that 100%.
If someone was previously addicted to and they're getting clean, no offense, I'm not pursuing that
I mean,
person.
they shouldn't be
And
in a
that's really,
relationship
I feel like
at
that's
that
a
point
personal
either.
preference.
They
If
have
you
to work
choose
on
what you take on.
themselves.
Exactly.
yeah.
But okay, so we were talking about man,
What were we talking about?
we were talking about would you date a guy who lives with his parents?
No,
Okay.
I saw that coming.
So, I mean, right away, you're making most guys, if she's attractive and if she's 20, 21, she's living with her parents, we don't give a Actually, that's probably better.
Why?
Why is
If
it better?
it's better because she's probably not hoeing around as much.
I mean, you
I
never
mean,
know.
I don't think that would stop anyone.
It helps a bit. It might help a tad.
So that makes
know?
you feel better. Like, do you feel like very insecure in your relationship? So if you see like a woman living with her parents, you're like, oh, maybe she won't cheat on me this time. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
It has nothing to do with insecurity.
Well, I mean, I think it does because I don't understand how a woman living with her parents has to do with her having sex. I don't bring people over to my house when I hook up with them. I go to their house.
That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But if you're still living under your parents' roof, they still have some degree of influence over you.
No, they don't.
I don't think so at all.
They have
I'm
some
gonna be
degree
dead
of-
ass right now.
They
I live
do
at home.
not.
My dad has no shit to tell me. I walk in the door. He's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey." That's it. That's the
love
only
that
conversation
for
we
you.
have.
Yeah,
He
it's
has
kinda how
no
it goes.
influence under me at all. He's home. I'm home. We don't even eat dinner together. We don't talk
That's
to
a
each
yikes.
other. Like,
That's a major yikes.
Yeah,
I'm
not.
just
No,
being dead ass.
you're an
Stop.
adult.
I'm
You're a
just
fully
being-
grown
I'm
adult.
I'm just being
You
dead
don't.
ass right now.
You just
Like,
said you just said with your own father.
Yeah.
You don't talk to him. You don't eat dinner with him.
no.
That's sad.
Baby
that sounds
girl.
sad.
But that's also under my circumstances.
It could be
It's
cultural.
only
True.
ever
Issue.
been me and my dad, and to a certain point, my dad has problems. I have problems. We've never really had an actual sit-down dinner.
Damn.
I mean, we won't get into that.
I'm
but
just being honest, though. That has me living with my dad has no like connection
I'm not
with
saying
my with what I go out and do, and he has no influence into it either.
I'm not saying it's a guarantee that if a woman lives with her parents, she's not a hoe. That's not. I'm not saying that, but her parents can still be a positive influence in her life.
But it could be a positive influence.
Could
but
be.
because
It's not a
po-
guarantee.
but just because it's a positive influence doesn't mean it is an influence where she's not going to be a hoe. Because they can still have a positive influence and still go out and do what they want and come home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if her father was a adult role model in her life, then
Moral of the story: anyone can be a hoe.